Welcome to 247 Real Talk. I'm your host, Julian Perry. It's a pleasure to be here with you, as always, for another episode of the 247 Real Talk podcast. I hope that you guys had a great week since we last spoke. The weather's been pretty nice here in New York, at least in the 70s, mid-70s. We had a couple of days with a little rain, but generally speaking, it's had a breeze. It's been nice for me to work outside on my, building stuff. I'm going to give my wife a plug, Silk and Soul. My wife is coming out with a new product line of apparel and organic candles and things for the mature people who enjoy the simpler things in life and the comfort. So stay tuned. I'll try to post some of her information online. Again, I hope you guys had a great week. You know that I told you guys last week about the loss of my friend, the last week's episode, there was a tribute to Selvin Austin. Rest in peace, my brother. So it's been a difficult week, and it's been a week of a lot of contemplation and really looking at the value of life. Selvin was not yet 60 years old, and a wonderful person. When I looked at, I thought about his life and recognized that he did a lot in his time that brought value into his life. Some of us can live, people you see live for 80, 90 something years, and you almost want to, ask them a story about their life, and they didn't do a lot with it. So, then I got the usual thing that happens, something from my past that made me think even deeper into our purpose, our life, and how we should be living, especially in this time of trials and tribulations and struggles. So, sit back, relax, and I'll be right back with you. All right, so I'm back. Still switching back and forth, trying to figure out a better movement, for you guys. But no one seems to really bothered by it, so I'll keep it the way it is for now. I will tell you that I've been approached by a lot of people who want me to go back to having guests. I've been approached by many well-known guests or well-known people within different circles who want to come on the show, and I was pleasantly surprised by that, considering that my subscriber numbers go up slowly, yet I have that kind of interest and I have that many people who watch the show. They may not subscribe, but they are watching the show. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the thoughts, like I said, about life today. It won't be a long episode, but everybody knows the famous poet, the famous literist. Her name was Maya Angelou, right? Maya Angelou. And I have a quote from her. It says, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style." Maya Angelou said, "My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive." Let's stop right there. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. And that's where my thought pattern went when I thought about my dear friend passing and how he lived his life and how I'm living my life. And every week when I come to you on an episode and I ask you, how are you doing? How are you living your life? We are in trying times. No matter where you live in this world, the world has changed. It has become so complex and so challenging. People are not the same. The people who had a certain genuine nature to them that you could trust. We've learned over the last few years that that's not the case, that many people were simply existing within the times, but their true feelings were in the closet. And it says, my mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive, and to do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. Let's examine that. So, again, I have a lot of things I am passionate about. And over the last few years, probably over the last 2 years really, I've begun to morph into a person who is pursuing those passions vigorously, focusing more on it, especially since as I'm nearing retirement and I'm looking beyond it, not just to retiring and sailing off in the sunset, but retiring and ramping up my passion, my ability to thrive, my ability to help my wife with her business so she will thrive and we will thrive, to live life with a passion, to have humor, to do it in my style. And if you look at my other YouTube channels where I do tech stuff and modding bikes and stuff, you will see my garage, my workshop, and all the mods I've done. I do things with my own flair and style. But there's a key word I left out of order. And it says to do so with compassion. If you've been following my episodes, and I know many of you have, because, and again, I want to, in case I missed it in my intro, thank you for all the folks who reached out to me and offered condolences and comfort. But you've also, if you've been listening to my episodes, you've also been listening to me dealing with some very hard struggles at work. I've been less focused on them on the last couple of episodes because I've been using faith over fear, and I am by nature, the way God created me, inherently I have a level of anxiety, and sometimes you wonder, well, why does our Creator create us with these imperfections, as we would like to call them? I'm learning as I'm getting older that anxiety is not an imperfection. It is actually a characteristic that my Creator put in me for me to overcome on this journey. Because with me overcoming that, a few things happen. One, I get stronger. Two, I get a better understanding of myself and others who go through it. And three, my faith gets larger. Because I cannot overcome this anxiety and the fears that I face in life without faith. In my life, it's all about faith over fear. And in many instances, I fail. I'm sorry. I'll do this in the middle of the episode, but one of my phones is still on, and I'm sure you can hear it every time a message comes in. I apologize. Yes, so faith over fear. And as I thought about, things happen in our lives, and people come through our lives, and they move on. They go about their own lives, or sometimes they leave this place we call our planet, our world, and we mourn them, or we express our condolences, and then we move on. In many cases, we never take the time to reflect on that life and the life that person lived, to determine if there are valuable lessons in there that we should have learned because that person shared part of their life's journey with us. My dear friend Selvin was a great musician. I can't believe I'm saying was in the past tense, but he played the bass, he played the guitar, he played the piano, keyboard, and I'm talking about didn't need to read music. He could listen to a song and play it. He was an avid DIYer. He could build a complete house just by skills that he learned along his life's journey. Nothing went to school for. He could do framing, he could do plumbing, he could do electrical, he could put in floors, he could put in walls, he could do everything. He was an amazing mixture of gifts from the Almighty. And I got to tell you, when I first learned of his passing, a week and a half, maybe 2 weeks ago, I struggled because the first question you ask is, why so young? And I reflected on his life and realized that because of who he was, he did so much in his life and so much good for so many people. He belonged to a band, condolences to the members of Out of the Blue Band. He played all over the country. He got to experience his passion every way. And in this last few years before he left us, He quit his job of 30-something years. He resigned to keep his pension, took a new challenge, a new risk, in a bigger job, a better job, was able to move out of New York, go live in Florida, build his own house. Unfortunately, I don't think he spent a year, he got to spend a whole year in the house even before he's gone. But you still have to look at the value of how we lived. I'll go back again to what Maya Angelou said. My mission in life is not merely to survive, but to thrive. To do so with some passion, some compassion, some humor, and some style. This is so relevant even to today, as many of us are looking around us with the chaos of the world, and we're so focused on surviving that we've forgotten that we have the power that by our Creator gave us to still exhibit passion, to still do things that we love, to find ways to put deliberate effort behind caring about others, caring for others, collaborating with others, bringing joy and smile and happiness to our personal spaces and beyond. Doing whatever it is, that gift that God gave us, not putting it in our back pocket or locking it in a closet, but releasing it in its fullest and its fiercest form. So that the passion that we have, the desires that we have, the things that we want to do to uplift others and to bring joy to those around us and to ourselves, making sure that we live that every single day or make strides towards that. Because sometimes it is not just about reaching that passion. Sometimes it is about the journey to that passion. If you let people come into your lives and leave, say hello and goodbye. And when you're struck by someone that had such an impact in your life, you never take the time to reflect on what they brought to your life, then we are wasting valuable time, valuable resources, and valuable lessons in life. All of us who live in this world, in this country today, we're on a journey, we're on a trajectory, one way or the other. And too many of us have decided that the day is going to go by just surviving. We are so drained by the challenges of life that we've decided that thriving or pursuing a passion will take too much out of us. We fail to recognize that when you achieve a passion or the heights of that passion, the euphoria that you experience actually puts energy back into you. Gives you more purpose, more drive, more reason to push forward, one foot in front of the other. I have learned as I get older and understand I've got more years behind me than ahead of me, understand that we all will one day leave this place. That I want the value of this time God is giving me to mean something. To mean something to myself and the joy and the appreciation of every breath I take. To mean something to those immediately around me, my family, my kids, my wife, my extended family. To mean something to you, my listeners, who for whatever reason or whatever value I bring you, whether it's entertainment, whether you're just interested in what I have to say, or whether you take something away that you put into action in your lives, or some inspiration you get from hearing my challenges and my victories. And most importantly, it is my thank you, my humble thank you to my Creator for giving me the opportunity to live this life and to go through this process of exuberance, of trials and tribulations, to see faith in action, to see the power of my Almighty, to be in tune with the rhythm. I've done an episode on this, the rhythm of our Creator, the rhythm of God. So we recognize when He is acting. We recognize when we need to listen to what we're listening to and how to move to what we've heard. There's so much chaos, as I said, around us politically, environmentally. Everything around us is a distraction, and it's created in some ways purposely. So that you're so drawn into it that you forget you. Except for the twins that were born in this world, and they were still born one before or after the other. We came into this world alone. And unless every single person leaves here at the exact same microsecond, we're going to leave this world alone. We get a chance in between those two periods to live life in togetherness, to share joy, to feel love, and to feel happiness. It drives me every day to be closer to my children. It drives me every day to be closer to my wife. It drives me every day to be closer to my 93-year-old father. It drives me every day to be closer to my brother. It drives me every day to be closer to my pastor, to my church, for those who pray for me. And then most of all, it drives me every day to say thank you, to give praise, and to remember who I am and whose I am. Sometimes when you hear episode after episode, parts of it may sound like a broken record, but the record is not broken. The record is going around playing the same song because you need to hear the same song. I need to hear the same song until we get it. Until we get to a point in our lives where our lives mirror the song of passion, of compassion. Despite there being people in my life right now at work, etc., who are so filled with power and the ability to exhibit it in a manner where myself and others are just tools to get a job done, who have made it clear that they care more about the job than the people. I've had one of the bosses say to me, I don't care about you, I just care about the work. They have completely lost their way. They have lost the concept that the people and the impact it makes in their lives in a good way. That is the gift, that when you're given the power to enrich the lives of the people who do the work, and the work will get done. And the reward will be greater because those people would have received a gift from you that you were fortunate enough to be put in the position to give. As I said to you, I inherently was born with anxiety, and I've been through the last 2 months have been some of the toughest in my life. Sometimes I've felt like I can't go anymore. I'm at the edge and not sure whether I'm going to wake up the next day because my whole inside, everything about me feels tight and out of sorts. And to get back on track, I reached out tighter and tighter to my faith, and I asked God for more faith. And what I'm noticing slowly but surely is I'm not only growing in faith, but I'm growing in strength. I'm gaining perspective. And in all that mix, I'm recognizing that do unto others as you would have done unto you. Recognizing that what's been done unto me is not what I want for others has sort of empowered me and strengthened me to be kinder, even to look for the opportunities to be more of a blessing to others. If you see me looking sideways, my cameras keep going on, so I want to know why. But it's what's within me that I need to give to the world. I need to give to you through what my Creator gave to me and is giving to me. So I thank you. I thank you for being the audience. I thank you for being the listeners and hopefully the doers by sharing this word. By finding someone in your life who needs to hear this message and not just either, oh, another episode today and moving along your way, or oh, that was a good episode because I listened to it and moving on, but using the tool that I am gifted or given by my Almighty to pass along the message, to pay it forward if need be. Thrive. Go after your passion. Do it with a style that only you have. Find some humor and joy in it. And make sure that every time you put one foot in front of the other, make sure that every action that you take is grounded in compassion. The day will come when none of this matters. For those of us who believe that day will come where the question just might be asked of us, I gave you life. What did you do with it? Not just for yourself, because I gave you life. But what did you do with your life to enrich the lives of others, to bring unity, to stand up for what's right, to bring joy, to pursue peace, and most of all, because of the gift of life, to make sure that every single thing we do in righteousness, that there's a passion about what we do. I pray that every single time I open my mouth and I face this camera, that what I deliver is meaningful to someone out there. I know it is because you come back at me, and when you come back at me and say thank you for that episode, you have no clue what it does for me inside to know that a gift that God has given me, a passion, because this podcast is one of my passions, to help people, to share with the world. And when you come back and say thank you, just knowing that if you felt enough and you got enough from what we have shared is an amazing gift for me. Just to mention that my dear departed brother Selvin was from Barbados. His funeral is next Friday. Yes, it's a long stretch, probably 3 weeks between the time he died and the time he'd be laid to rest, because he had family from Barbados, I believe, had to travel up, and his remains have been brought from Florida back to New York, where this huge amount of people that he knew and touched, whose lives that he touched, will be there to send him off. Today I went for my pre-surgical exam ahead of my second knee replacement surgery to replace my left knee. I'll tell you more about that probably next week, because I don't know whether I'll have pre-recorded episodes or whether I will just go dark for a little bit. When I did my right knee, I was able to sit in front of the camera shortly after surgery and actually record an episode. I only recorded one filler. So let's see what happens. Whatever happens, it'll be God's will, because I know who I am and whose I am. I hope you enjoyed this week's episode. Remember, passion, thrive. There's only one of you. Even if you have a twin, there's only one of you. Live the life that you're given in the best way you can. And what you put out there will come back to you. Until the next time, please take care of yourselves and each other.